Sabrina Brown. Thank you for joining us. Topping the news tonight, the government has made a decision regarding the future of the Freeport Inn Resort. The former Freeport Inn Resort, the former hotel property in the heart of the city, was purchased by the Ingram administration back in 2012 for the expansion of the Rand Memorial Hospital. Since then, the property has fallen into a state of disrepair. The Minister for Grand Bahama held a press conference this afternoon to announce the government's final decision on the property. Natalie Martinborough reports.
The government has determined that it would be too costly to renovate the Freeport Inn Resort, so a decision has been made to demolish 4 of the buildings on the property. A $100,000 contract has been issued to Sanitation Services to take down the structures. Minister for Grand Bahama Dr. Michael Darville says a complete independent assessment was carried out, and based on the findings, some of the structures are unsound and are in gross violation of the building codes.
We found that there was some issues with the foundation, as well as the second and third floors of the structure. So immediately we got an independent assessment from a local engineering firm to assess the integrity, and they clearly indicated that there were signs of creeping. There was also issues with the integrity of the concrete, because the building is 50 plus years old. For the government to take valuable, precious resources and to pump into the renovation of a structure where the integrity is in question does not make any sort of proper financial sense.
Dr. Darville says an investigation by the Ministry of Works arrived at the same conclusion, that the 4 3-story buildings are not structurally sound. The remaining 2 buildings on the property will be used by the Public Hospitals Authority.
In collaboration with all of the stakeholders, we will determine how the remaining buildings will be utilized to expand and to improve the quality of service for Grand Bahamians and those living in the Northern Bahamas.
Existing 2 structures that Mr. Brown spoke about will remain, and those structures will be renovated to improve the quality of healthcare services to the Rand Memorial Hospital while we decide and move towards the construction of a new hospital on a new greenfield site.
Minister Darville says based on the assessment, the property is free of asbestos, but he admits that it has become a terrible eyesore on a major highway in Freeport. He is relieved that the dilapidated structures will be taken down.
There are other buildings in Grand Bahama that are in similar state, and now those buildings must be brought into question on the way forward to really clean up the appearance of our city. Now that our tourism product is up and going, we want to make sure that we have a fresh look in the community, particularly in the downtown area. And so I'm excited that finally this is behind us, and the way forward is to create a greenfield site there until the government and the PHA decide what our next move would be with that piece of land.
Demolition will begin on September 15th by Sanitation Services. The Ministry for Grand Bahama is requesting the support and cooperation of the business community and residents living in the area during the demolition process. Natalie Martinborough, ZNS Network News.
There is concern tonight about the future of a major business in West Grand Bahama. After numerous appeals for a food store to be established in that district, a local businessman answered the call, but it would appear that things are not going as planned. Community leaders fear that its pullout could have a devastating impact on the economy in the West. Shashina Roll reports.
After 1 year of opening its doors in the 8 Mile Walk community, SaveALot food store is now preparing to close its doors. Former Member of Parliament for 8 Mile Walk and community activist Verne Grant, as well as businessman Eugene Duncanson, say they are saddened by the news, but they say the blame rests on the residents of 8 Mile Walk who did not patronize their own community food store.
They are planning to leave at the end of the month. And we're hoping that people would come and galvanize and support the supermarket. Okay, there are not a lot of things that they want here, but if you come, you could demand what you want. The supermarket will meet our demands. But if you don't come and there's no one to patronize it, then they'll have to leave. Freeport Power doesn't care whether or not you come. They're still going to charge the overhead. But we have to defray the cost by shopping and shopping local because it is here for our convenience.
There are a lot of businesses in 8 Mile Rock, and people prefer to go to Freeport than to buy in 8 Mile Rock because it seemed to be prestigious. For me, if I need something, I would first try 8 Mile Rock, T-Smith, or any other hardware companies. I'd first try 8 Mile Rock. If it's not an 8 Mile Rock, then I would try Freeport.
Duncanson says the only way the 8 Mile Rock community can grow is if the residents support their own.
This supermarket, everybody wants to go to Freeport and buy, but they still want to come and get little small things from the supermarket here. The supermarket can't stay open like that. It's a business, and if you have a business you're not making money, then you have to do the next best thing that's best for you. You can't come here just because the people want you here and not make any money.
But the laundromat in the plaza recently reportedly closed due to the low volume of business. They believe one consequence of not supporting community stores is the risk of unemployment.
So you also have a few people out of job, and that's not good. So we in the 8 Mile Rock area need to spend more money in our areas first. And then if it's not here, then we go somewhere else.
Once this leaves, it leaves another gap in the community, plus unemployment for a few persons who are working. So, it's just a domino effect of everything that is happening negative, and we need to start putting more positive things back into the community. We're not asking for the F&M or PLP or any of those other people to come in and help. We have to help ourselves. This is not about politics, this is about helping each other and keeping the area sustained and growing for economic reasons.
Residents in 8 Mile Rock made many public cries for a food store in the area when Winn-Dixie closed. While SaveALot food store is scheduled to close its doors by the end of this month, Grant is making this last appeal.
Stay with us, stay here in 8 Mile Rock, talk to us in the community and let us know what it is that we can do to help to keep the supermarket open. And those mums and pops shop, God bless you, you've done a tremendous job. But we just want something of volume that we can work with.
Shashina Roll, ZNS Network News.
ZNS News contacted the owner of Sawyers and SaveALot food stores, Sandy Sawyer. He declined an on-camera interview, but he did confirm that the store in 8 Mile Rock will close at the end of the month. Sawyer says he invested a significant amount of money in the 8 Mile Rock store, and the closure is a business decision as residents of the area have not supported the store as expected. He says the 8 Mile Rock store is 3 times the size of the Freeport location, yet it can only account for 1/5 of the business. He says when he factors in the price of electricity and other costs, it just doesn't make good business sense to keep the store open. The local businessman says he regrets having to close the store and says at this point he is uncertain as to what will happen to the employees at that location. Now, there has been a steady decline in business at the Harbor West Shopping Center, the complex that houses the Sawyers SaveALot store. Waugh Construction manages the shopping center. Director Doug Pruden says businesses in that plaza have struggled over the years due to the downturn in the economy.
We've been working with tenants, trying to keep our tenants and working with the rate out there. With the laundromat, it's my understanding from the principals of that company that they just didn't have the volume of business. They tried 24-hour service. They tried busing people in and taking them back home and whatnot. And they had little snack facilities and areas for the kids and whatnot. But they said they just didn't have the volume to make a go of it. And they had to make a hard decision to move.
He admits that low customer volume is an issue, particularly with the SaveALot food store.
Sawyer came out there very courageous. He put a tremendous amount of money in that facility. He totally renovated and designed it especially for the community, price-wise. And the problem there is he just didn't have the traffic going through there. Sandy and I had a little meeting out there yesterday morning at 10:45, 11 o'clock. And we were the only 2 people in there other than the staff. I mean, it's amazing.
Pruden says they are dedicated to the 8 Mile Rock community and are inviting other persons interested in renting a store to contact them so that they can all help to grow that area. But it isn't all bad news coming out of the West. While one food store is closing, another is expanding. Express Food Mart recently opened its doors in the West End community, the fifth in a chain of food stores on the island owned by the Taylor family. Proprietor Shauna Taylor says they saw a need within the West End settlement and they moved to meet the demands.
The people came to Mr. Taylor and, brought it to his attention. He looked into it and here we are today. There's a lot of elderly people here in West End. They no longer have to take the bus, go into 8 Mile Rock anymore. They no longer have to go into Freeport. Everything is right here.
The West End store employs 6 people from that community, bringing the total staff count at Express Food Mart stores to around 100. Shauna says despite the tough economic times, her family is optimistic about the future of Grand Bahama.
People are talking about the recession and they're talking about the economical boom that is coming to Grand Bahama. How can you talk about something if you're not putting your best foot forward? We are waiting on that boom, but we're not just sitting down waiting. We are moving, we are doing, we are working, and we're giving people jobs. We are a part of the economical boom. We want to make this economical boom a success. We can't just sit down and wait on the government or a handout. We have to make it happen ourselves.
Careful not to give a dollar amount on this new investment, the businesswoman says it was not easy expanding to the Western District.
The cost to open this location was vast. Having to repair the building, having to, bring in inventory, having to transport, items from Freeport to West End. The ride is a bit, long. But, Mr. Taylor didn't look at stuff like that. He just went in straight forward and did what he had to do.
Stay with us. The Northern Edition is coming right back.
Bringing news that matters to you. You're watching the Bahamas Tonight Northern Edition.
Welcome back. The Grand Bahama Power Company rolling out a mentorship exchange program for its employees. GB Power is partnering with its sister companies in the region to establish the program that promotes personal growth and operational efficiencies. Participants will learn from the expertise of Emira Caribbean Limited colleagues in critical fields such as power generation and transmission and distribution. Power officials say the exchange program will be extended to include other critical functions and utilities under the Emira umbrella, such as Dominica Electricity Services. The company has also introduced a competency-based training program that will hone the skills of its linesmen and plant operators. Power officials say this 4-year program, together with the Carolec training and certification program for linesmen, will position the company for a successful future in the evolving industry. In other news, the Bishop Michael Alden Primary School preparing its 6th graders for leadership. This past Thursday, the student leaders were selected and they took the oath to be good students and true to the mission of the institution. The school believes that by introducing the younger students to the responsibilities of leadership at an early age, students will be properly grounded and will become productive leaders of tomorrow. Senior Mistress Ivana Roll says they are excited about the potential that exists among this group of students.
Years ago, we decided to institute the Student Leadership Program. That is where all grade 6 members, they are part of that team, and we develop them by a series of lessons and various character traits to develop that leadership quality in them at this early stage. We only have 10 months to do it as they're going to high school at the end of this school year. And so we wanted to make sure that the next crop of students entering school, high school, as well as the community, are well developed in their leadership skills.
The school has moved away from the prefect system in order to expose a greater number of students to the principles of leadership that focuses on building character and making good, sound decisions.
Following the program by Stephen Covey, which is the 7 habits of highly effective students and teens, we use that program and the book. And one of the acronyms that we are engaging with our children is lead, which is to be loyal, to be excellent, to achieve, and to have discipline. And so within the 10 months, we are going to flesh out various aspects of the program so that our students will be well-versed and well-developed in their character.
Another private institution on Grand Bahama boasting of an increase in student numbers this school term. Grand Bahama Academy now provides extended early learning center hours, a state-of-the-art computer lab, and a new 6-station science lab to be completed by the end of the month. Enrollment currently stands around 250 students from K3 to grade 12. Principal Ruth Roll says that she is pleased with Grand Bahama Academy's 2014 BJC and BGCSE results and the efforts of their students.
We're very proud of those. The students did very well. We have some students in grade 8 who took it, and our students on the whole, they do well in religious studies, mathematics, chemistry, physics, and history.
The Academy keeps busy throughout the year. This July, members of the faculty and students traveled to the Dominican Republic and helped to start a new church. Roll says this ties into their 2014-2015 theme, Excellence Now and Beyond.
We're striving to teach our children excellence and not only prepare themselves for this world, but more so for the world to come. Because Christ is coming soon and we have to prepare their children spiritually.
Grand Bahama Academy is looking to launch a Pathfinders Club on campus for students during school hours, as well as a debate club and a community Sabbath school project. The 8 Mile Rock High School family mourning the loss of one of their own. Administration, teachers, and students were shocked and saddened this morning by the sudden passing of educator Nancy Seymour. Principal Ivan Butler says school was dismissed for the day upon hearing the news, and they are still trying to come to grips with this loss.
She reported for work on Monday and she was not feeling well. She left, I'm told that she visited the doctor Monday afternoon. She had a few days sick leave, and we were told that she was doing well, all was well with her. And many teachers called her throughout the week, and it was just before 8 this morning I received the disturbing news that she had passed away. The entire staff was saddened by the news. The entire staff, we gathered this morning, and they were all disappointed. Some still cannot believe the news.
Butler says Seymour, who taught at 8 Mile Rock High for the past 9 years, made an invaluable contribution.
She would just definitely be missed. She was a definite presence on this campus. She helped so many people, you know, in their spiritual walk, with their educational pursuits, and she was definitely a gem of a teacher.
Butler extends condolences to the family of Nancy Seymour on behalf of the 8 Mile Rock High School. Tonight, a local pastor's wife is telling her life story of how she battled with the spirit of suicide at an early age. She hopes her story will help others. Evangelist Margaret Mulling says the spirit of suicide is prevalent in today's society. She says she recognizes this because she had a personal experience.
From a young age, I always felt like hopeless and didn't want to live. So it was like the spirit of suicide was always following me. And so I never thought that I would I always felt like I wasn't going to make it to see age 24.
She says unforgiveness and generational curses were at the root of her depression, but God delivered her.
I was reminded of a vision that I had over 23 years ago, that I was in a cage with a gorilla, a tall gorilla, and I was in there with him because I was locked in there with him. And an unseen hand gave me a key, and I unlocked the cage door and came out of the cage.
Margaret says she was inspired to write her autobiography, which will be released in her 12th book, From the Cage to the Palace. With so many people facing similar challenges, she believes it is crucial that she share her story.
There was a particular incident that happened, like I was inspired to speak to a young man and, invite him to our home and just befriend him and show him that encouragement. And I didn't, because I was afraid of what other people would say. And I said to the Lord, Lord, if I were to do that, people would say, that's my sweetheart. So when you think about what other people are going to say, you're not obedient to the Lord. It becomes like a snare to you because you fear what people say more than what God is saying. And I didn't do it. Then the young man committed suicide.
Margaret and her husband, Pastor Paul Mullings, have this bit of encouragement for those who may be feeling hopeless.
I just stopped by to let you know there's hope. There's hope, and also that you have a purpose. God has a purpose and a plan for your lives.
The word of God said, trust in the Lord with all thine heart, and lean not unto thine own understanding, but in all thy ways acknowledge him, and he shall direct.
Margaret also wrote a play on breaking the spirit of suicide, which is set to hit the stage on September 18th at Mount Calvary Baptist Church Education Center in Seagrape. Well, that's a look at news. Stay with us. Sports is up next with Ricardo Lightbourne.
Everybody, welcome to Sports and Ricardo Lightbourne. Sabrina wants to start the weekend quickly, so let's get to it. The Atlanta Hawks cheerleaders arrived on Grand Bahama today for a week of hard work. Okay, it's called Fun in the Sun and a calendar shoot. The Atlanta Hawks NBA cheerleaders are in Grand Bahama for the next few days and thrilled to be on the island. Now the girls will take in the sights and sounds of Grand Bahama, and there is some work involved, a calendar shoot. Brooke, Lauren, and Bethany says it's great to be on the island.
The first group of our team is going to be here until Tuesday, so 4 days, and then on Tuesday the second half of our team comes, so we do 2 groups, so it's half and half.
Last year we went to Mexico, and every year I feel like it gets better and better. We're so excited to be here in the Bahamas. I think this year's shoot is going to be definitely a step up, top notch, all the way.
We're so excited to get here this morning and enjoy the 4 days that we do have here, enjoy the resort and the beautiful weather.
Camille Churchill says it's a win-win situation for Grand Bahama, and for the next week, they'll be busy with the cheerleaders and the events.
We were approached by the Atlanta Hawks cheerleaders, talent manager, scouting for a particular location. And of course, there are several other locations that were up for this particular shoot. And of course, Grand Bahama won hands down because we did present ourselves with the great beaches such as Gold Rock Beach, Barbary Beach, and all of our other beaches on Grand Bahama Island. Of course, the backdrop for this particular shoot is going to be the Grand Lucayan Resort, where they have quite an expansive part of beach there. But in addition to that, we are also going to have an opportunity to showcase all of Grand Bahama Island. The ladies will be traveling to Pindus Point, West End, Smiths Point, all of the various locations that talks and speaks about our rich cultural heritage on Grand Bahama Island.
The Atlanta Hawks cheerleaders' first impression of Grand Bahama was exhilarating, and for the girls, special. Group coming in on Tuesday. YMCA Commercial Basketball League playoffs are into the semifinal round, folks. The Borco Oilers entered the playoffs as the #1 seed in this year's championship and played so good so far, eliminating the Grand Bahama Power Shockers in 2 games to 1. Now, the game 3 was a blowout, 95-64. Coach Barrett Clark and Clemente Martin feel pretty good about what they're going to be doing tonight.
Oh, my team is playing very good, very good. Defense, we could do 1 or 2 more things with defense, but the offense is spectacular. But we'll capitalize between now and come Friday, we'll be ready for the win of this match here.
Do you feel you guys have the tools to go all the way?
Yes, sir. I feel we do. We honestly do.
We do have the right package to go all the way. Like Coach said, we're #1 seed, and we got to show it every game. Every game we have to bring it, and that's what we intend on doing.
Well, Borco plays Statoil in the feature tonight. The Ironman Hawks plays the Grand Lucayan Warriors, and they will play that at 7 o'clock. It should be a very good night as far as basketball. A lot of hard work today. Covering those cheerleaders was mind-blowing and blistering. See, working my fingers to the bone. That's Sports Tonight.